Howdy, I'm Grey Pilgrim. I'm just going to discuss the similarities and differences between two revolvers I've got. Oh, let me put this away and that away. That's habit of the old. You move slower. Anyway, first on the list is this. This is an 8mm French service revolver, model of 1892. It is known for many things. For one thing, if you ever see the movie Casablanca, the gendarme in there, in, Algeria, what's the name of the city, where Rick's place is? Casablanca, right. It was under Vichy French control, and therefore a gendarme is running around. And Nazis run around right and left, but it's Vichy, so it's technically French soil still. Anyway, this is on his hip. This was issued, I think, in 1893. Then it was the #1 standard pistol used in World War I. And after World War I, it was retired in favor of various automatics. But gendarmes still carried it until, well, late in the 1960s in France itself. It shoots an 8mm cartridge, about as powerful as a .32 auto. Now, I've got a box of 8mm service revolver around here too, made by Fiocchi, which is erroneously marked 8mm Labelle. Well, Labelle is a rifle round. I've got a couple of them up there. It is not a pistol round. But what's interesting is this will chamber both the .32 Smith & Wesson Long and the .32 Colt. Both work. Granted, I've tried its .32 Smith & Wesson Long several times. It's not very accurate, and it tends to split cases occasionally. So, be forewarned. Well, what I found interesting is this was made, by the way, by the Armory at Saint-Étienne, or to give its full name, Manufacture d'Armes de Saint-Étienne. I don't speak French. But it's one of the main state armories of France, or was. And it's a very interesting concern that made all kinds of good stuff, but they made this. It is a well-made, well-fitted, beautiful gun. And let me show you something. It's kind of interesting. Oh, let me get my Leatherman out here. This thing is made to fit, I don't know, I think it's a 5 franc note or a coin or something. 5 centime, I think. Yeah, that one's too big. Let me find one that's about the right size. I don't happen to have a French coin handy. Actually, I might, no, I'm not going to go digging that out. No, where is it? It's got to be on this side then. No, by the way, I will be buried with this particular Leatherman. This is a Gen 1. I've had it, since I was a teen. I've lost it a few times. Bought others to replace it. The modern ones just don't really work as well as this thing does. I know this thing. I know each of the tools on it by heart and how to use them and stuff. And it's just an all-around really cool thing to have on your hip. And I've used it a million times in my life, literally a million times. Anyway, you take out this screw, which is captive, and oh, come on now, you be good. And then the opposite plate comes off and exposes the lockwork. See that? Very, very cool. I'm not going to pull it all the way because if I did, things would go sprawling every which way. But it's interesting because it's the only pistol I know where you can actually get right down into the guts of the thing, and it's all self-contained. It just, the grip, I forgot the grip. This grip comes off. I'm not going to do the other pistol this way because it's a real pain where the sun never shines. So I just thought I would show you that one on the Saint Etienne one. Anyway, it's an 8mm pistol with about the same power as a 32 auto. Well, I find that interesting because the second pistol also has a round of about the same caliber, same size, and same power. This was made in 1892. This was made in 1895. This is the genius of one Leon Nagant. He was a Belgian gunmaker and was best remembered for his work on the Model 91 Mosin Nagant, later the 9130. But he also developed this for the Tsar, the Tsar's army. There were two versions of this. One was single action for enlisted men, mainly NCOs, and a double action for officers. Well, after the fall of the Tsar and the rise of the Soviet Union, they continued to make these, but they made them all double action after that. This one's made in, I think, Yashev's. Heck, I can't remember. I think it's Yashev's. And it should have the date on it somewhere. Oh, gosh. The problem when you have so many guns is you forget. 1944. No, this is Tula. It's made in Tula. Now, it shoots a really weird round because this is the only revolver you can actually put a silencer on. Why? Because the forcing cone, when the thing is cocked, let me cock it, it pushes the cylinder forward into the forcing cone. And this round, which has the bullet rebated down inside the rim, is held so that this part of the rim is actually inside the forcing cone, so that it provides a seal, and therefore maybe another 50 or so feet per second of acceleration. Maybe. I don't know. But this is, in some ways, a very primitive pistol. It loads by way of a loading gate, single action type, like a single action army. It loads one at a time. And to eject the cartridges, you pull out this pin, flip this thing to the side, and then run a, oh, come now. Run this here bar down. Well, anyway, that's the way it works. And this particular one is, it always fights me on everything and anything. Like, okay, I pulled this pin out, and now it's going to fight me to get it back in. And the funny thing is, I can't get it completely back in. Well, this one and this one have one thing in common. Getting a hold of the ammo is difficult. I have a box of Fiocchi 8mm service. It's called Labelle. That works. It's the right cartridge. It's just that the last batch was made in the 1980s, and it is not available anymore. So what do? Well, what I do is I shoot 32 longs because that works. This one, not so easy, but there is a solution. I found a place that sells these. This is a 32 ACP cylinder that fits inside this particular revolver. Problem with it is that to work with that funny thing with the forcing cone, it has this spring-loaded sleeve inside the cylinder, on the cylinder itself. It fits in this big hole here. It's got a spring and a sleeve, and then when it cocks, it pushes the whole cylinder forward, and and the sleeve registers into an area here on the frame, and the spring keeps it all locked together. Well, this thing did not come with the spring or the sleeve. I found a place that sells the spring, but no one sells the sleeve. So what I've got to do is take this cylinder out and figure out a way of taking out this particular sleeve and cylinder and installing it in this cylinder. It's going to be a bit of a procedure, but and I'm not going to do it this winter because it's just, well, the shop is a little too cold and I'm just not feeling up to it right now. So, and like I said, when I put this back in, this should be flush with the end of the frame, but it never goes in. It's supposed to, you turn it until it lines up with the screw here, and then it push it in, and that it never does. I don't know why. I've used a dead blow hammer and tried to hammer it back in, doesn't work. It could be that like something in here is kind of off, but anyway, that's just my luck with pistols or with anything. It's my luck with life. Anyway, I just thought this would be an interesting discussion of the 8mm 1892 French and the 1895 Belgian-made Russian Nagant revolver. You'll notice how much they look alike. I'm not saying one copied the other. I'm not saying that at all, but Nagant, well, he might have. I mean, it's just old world revolvers do have a certain je ne sais quoi. They have a certain look about them that is hard to replicate these days. You know, like one thing, when they made this Nagant, they have this little area here that's open, so they took a tiny little sliver of wood, checkered it, and put it in there. And it just looks, well, it looks rather elegant. Anyway, you know, if you were an MKVD officer, this is what you'd carry. And if you were a gendarme, this is what you'd carry. Gendarmes were around a lot longer than the MKVD. Anyway, that's all I got for you today. Happy trails.